Hi everyone, this week's video is fairly brief. It focuses on a question that we received from a client last week around termination payments and whether a settlement agreement is necessary in order to pay a tax-free sum. Now, ordinarily where the employer wants to make a payment outside of the contract, they will use a settlement agreement for a few reasons. One, it is a bit of leverage, a payment outside of the contract, and in return, they can usually get the employee's agreement to sign an agreement which essentially protects the business against employment claims in the future. The second reason is that the employer may sometimes build in tax indemnities. So if it transpires that any of the payment is actually subject to tax and national insurance contributions, the employee will be required under that agreement to repay those sums. But there may be circumstances where an employer wishes to make a goodwill payment to an employee who is leaving on good terms, maybe no risk identified whatsoever of a claim. And the question is whether a settlement agreement is necessary in those circumstances, because it can add an administrative burden to the termination. It requires the employee to take advice from an independent legal advisor. The answer is that a settlement agreement is not absolutely necessary. It is absolutely essential to ensure that all payments under the contract are subject to tax and NI. So if a business is considering a compensation payment or an ex gratia tax-free payment, they must ensure that any amount representing notice pay and any other contractual sums, such as the payment of benefits during the notice period, pension contributions, and accrued holiday pay, and obviously salary up to termination date, they have to be taxed in the normal way. So it's not the tax rules that are any different if the settlement agreement isn't provided. It's the fact that the employer is not really gaining any protection in return for making that payment. So we would always suggest that for completeness, irrespective of the assessment of risk, if a business is considering making an ex gratia payment, it should be done by way of a settlement agreement to achieve that absolute protection from claims and possibly achieve other protections as well. We might want to beef up post-termination restrictions or provide for the return of property on a particular day. I don't know. But otherwise, there is nothing technically preventing an employer from making that tax-free payment without the use of a settlement agreement. If you do need any further advice on this point, or indeed anything employment law generally, please do get in touch. Visit the website chadwicklawrence.co.uk or email employmenthub@chadlaw.co.uk. Thank you.